Right hand by Deontay Wilder. Knocks Luis Ortiz down. Oh my gosh. Can he get up? He might be done. 8, 9. Fight's over. Fight's over. What? 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 What just happened? Oh my gosh. What a knockout by Deontay Wilder there in the 7th round. Really losing all the fight and kind of a ho-hum fight. Nothing really exciting happened, but just sort of being outboxed throughout, and then starts pressing a little bit more, starts throwing a little bit more of the right hand in that round. I think Ortiz started not really fading, but just the momentum shifted in that round. You could tell. And then, boom, right hand landed at the very closing seconds there of the round, and Ortiz was shook, and he was struggling for his mouthpiece and trying to get up, and he just did not get up in time. And Kenny Bayless stopped the fight. Wow. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Wow. That is crazy. What a good knockout by Deontay Wilder. That was impressive. I mean, that knockout. Michael McGurk, which is a funny name. Sorry. McGurk. Definitely sounds like a Disney movie villain name. With that power, you can have an off day. I agree. And he kind of was having an off day. And then all of a sudden, boom, power was there. And it knocks out Luis Ortiz in pretty devastating fashion in the 7th round. Both guys embracing, and it's good sportsmanship throughout for both guys, obviously, with a very shared lived experience in terms of their daughters and children and such. It's just good to see that. Plus, Luis Ortiz back on his feet. He seems to be good. He's in good spirits. At least I saw him, hug and smile with Deontay Wilder. That's good. At least, he's not in any danger at this point in time. And lately in boxing, we've been very concerned about that. But, man, Deontay Wilder, impressive knockout. Really. I mean, guys, that was a good knockout. Ortiz had his hands behind him on his back. He had no idea where he was at first. Wow. I'm just, I'm really impressed. I'm not going to lie. Wow. Whew. Gosh, and what happened in the Alvarado-Cancio fight, guys? Because that's happened. Oh, highlight. Oh, my gosh, that knockout. Ortiz had the guard up and then just, boom, right hand, clipped him and just, boom, full force. Let me see what it's like. Setting up with some pawing jabs. Ortiz does this, and it's kind of a loose guard, and right hand comes right down the center line. Boom! Clocks him on the chin. Impressive stuff, guys. Call in on Skype, Mixed Combat Radio, if you want to give your thoughts on the fight. I'm trying to find out what happened in the Alvarado-Cancio fight. Looks like Cancio got the shit beat out of him from the highlights they're showing me. Looks like Alvarado dominated in this rematch. Impressive stuff there. Wow. Let me see, guys, in the chat. Let me see what your guys' thoughts are. Santiago saying he caught Ortiz dead center under the forehead. What's Jay saying? I would say this, though. The day Wilder loses, it would be a 12-round masterclass. He has too many technical deficiencies. Yeah, probably so. I mean, other than maybe somebody finishing him, which is possible in the heavyweight division, where I think Wilder could be finished. I don't think that's out of the question. I think you're more likely to win a decision. It's just harder to do that because at the last 36 minutes with that right hand. And as we see, I mean, that was really the first right hand he landed clean, like truly clean in the fight. And it finished the fight. I mean, that is just extremely impressive. I mean, power, yeah, it's not new, but that sort of power is just unbelievable, to be honest. I can't believe it. Wow. And it does look like Rene Alvarado beat Andrew Cancio. Wow. Yeah, in the 7th round. Interesting. Technical knockout. We're going to wait here and see what Wilder's post-fight speech is. And then I'll give my thoughts on Wilder, what's next for him, what I think should be next, what I want to be next, what I think will most likely happen, which often is not what I want or others want. But hey, it is what it is. It's boxing. And then break down the rest of the card, Wilder Ortiz card, break down the Cancio Alvarado card in some detail. Obviously, talk about the Shu Shan fight against Manny Robles and the Rashidi Ellis Eddie Gomez rematch. And plus, I'm going to talk about the Callum Smith John Ryder fight in some aspect. So stay tuned for that, guys. And again, call in on Skype Mix Combat Radio. Let's hear what Wilder has to say about his epic win. Going to Heidi Andrel. What's her last name? I forget. Andrel. He just did Bomb Squad. Okay. If Fury like descended from like a tightrope and like with a steel chair, I'd be down with that. If that happened right now, that'd be cool. Let's get some WWE shit here. Kaz, of course, happy, being a big Wilder fan. Kaz, you have a right to be happy right now, that's for sure. For guys, I hate to say that I don't think anyone beats Wilder except Fury, and that requires that Fury is 100% perfect the entire fight. And Fu, let's be honest, I know Wallin gave him that work. Wilder just thanking everyone right now. Art Alexander saying this lady is corny. Dude, all the new commentary broadcasts are corny. DAZN, Fox, ESPN, corny, cringe. Yo, Fu with the shot, saying Joshua's going to get KO'd if they fight. Just talking about Ortiz being crappy in the ring at this point in time, why no one wants to fight him. He was close, man. Ortiz had, in my opinion, was winning basically almost every round. Truly impressive. And, hey, for everyone that was saying he was going to do it in better fashion than the first fight, he did. I mean, he never got hurt like he did in the first fight. Finished the fight quicker. I was wrong. Wilder. I think it's clear that Wilder does improve, at least in some aspect, in the rematch. Or in rematches, period. I mean, I think that's maybe an indicator right now. We see in the Stavern fight. We see now in the Ortiz fight. Maybe it's too little of a sample size, obviously. But at this point in time, we do see that Wilder does get better outcomes in rematches. Interesting to see going forward to the Fury fight. What that looks like. Fu saying that the whole show was shit, really. Their commentary and everything was very corny. The fights weren't, though. The fights were really good. We're going to get to all the fights in the undercard. I thought the entire card, and honestly, the entire night and day of boxing was really fun. Like, the worst fight was the Leo Santa Cruz fight, and that wasn't even a bad fight, to be honest. We just hated on the matchup. Next. Tyson Fury rematch. When where? Set to be done in February, which we know. So after that, he wants unification. So obviously that would be the Breeze AJ winner. All right, guys, let's talk about the rest of the card in detail. I'll give my thoughts on the main event as well. I mean, Wilder, like I was saying earlier, clearly, Wilder clearly at this point in time has a record of improving in rematches. That's one note to him. On top of it, clearly didn't get hurt in this fight at all, as he did in the first fight. That's an improvement. I'm not going to say defensively he's an improved fighter from the first fight. I think he just made whatever minor adjustments he did to not get hurt or get hit with the shots that he did in that first fight. And plus, I think he noticed the shift in Ortiz in the second half of the fight quicker and jumped on him faster. And I think that was a smart thing. I don't think he jumped on him, even though he had the fifth round knockdown. If you go back and watch the fight, the sixth round, he really didn't do much in that first fight. And he kind of dialed it back and didn't really press him. The second you saw that momentum shift, it was over. And that's something to make note of as well. But obviously, the Tyson Fury fight's next. And we have one guy, Deontay Wilder, fighting in this since the first fight. Dominic Brazil, who's a borderline top 15, top 20 guy. And obviously Luis Ortiz, who's a borderline top 5 heavyweight in the world. And largely kind of not dominate them, but dominate Brazil. And whatever struggles he had in this sort of fight, I think it was largely just due to not throwing shots. And the second he did start throwing in combination, the fight was over. And did it in more impressive fashion than the first fight in terms of this rematch. While Tyson Fury has been fighting Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallin, and a WWE match in Saudi Arabia. One guy has been clearly fighting, other elite fighters, let's be honest, other world level fighters. And, iron sharpens iron. And meanwhile, Tyson Fury has been fighting nothing but, sub top 50 guys. Let's be honest, like top 80 guys, honestly. And he's struggled in the Wallin fight. So I don't know what to think of a Tyson Fury rematch, because he is obviously, if you look at pure boxing ability, the better boxer in almost every category than Deontay Wilder from a technical perspective. But now we know Wilder just gets better outcomes in rematches, and he's been fighting better opposition lately. How do you not give the edge to Deontay Wilder in the rematch? It's almost impossible, in my opinion. Even though the technical deficiencies of Deontay Wilder are so evident, but it just seems like that's just, it doesn't matter. Deontay Wilder forego trying to become an elite boxer. He relies on that timing and that power. That's it. And that right hand. And it wins him fights. Let's just be honest about it. Now let's go to the rest of the card, the Wilder-Ortiz card. Leo Santa Cruz defeated Miguel Flores via unanimous decision. And, I got to say, this fight got a lot of shit on social media, and even I gave it some shit. It kind of did deserve some shit. It was a fight that had zero perceived threat or danger for Leo Santa Cruz, and it was another Leo Santa Cruz fight. And while some people might get entertained by just people throwing 1,000 punches a fight, if you're throwing 1,000 punches against a guy that we don't perceive to give you any threat or danger, he's not giving you really any danger within the fight. And on top of it, this fight has really no meaning to it other than just a really shameless belt grab above the more deserving Cancio Alvarado fight. And therefore, it was hard to sort of get up for this matchup in this fight in any way. Let's be honest. And I think Leo Santa Cruz obviously called out Gervonta Davis post-fight and said, I'll even go to 135. Go for it, Leo. Like, I'm ready for Leo to fight someone we perceive him to be in some danger with, to be in some sort of threat with. And whether that's Gary Russell Jr., whether that's Rene Alvarado, whether that's Miguel Berchelt, whether that's obviously Gervonta Davis, I don't care at this point. Just fight someone that matters and that gives us a sense of what's going to happen. The theater of the unknown. We want that. This matchup was the theater of we knew what's going to happen. And we got exactly that. A 12-round decision from Leo Santa Cruz in a really boring tune-up fight that no one needed to see. I think that's the issue with it. Not that it was a, quote, boring fight, because I think in pure action entertainment value, it's not really a boring fight, but relative to the matchup that it absolutely is a boring fight. Let's be honest here. Jay asking, where does Ortiz go from here? I mean, obviously, he keep fighting for a couple more years if he wants, but I think he just made, on a rumored $7 million paycheck for this fight, he could walk off if he wanted to be honest, if he really did. Moving on, I think Leo again, Gervonta Davis. I am curious about that fight. I really don't have a thought or prediction about that matchup at this point in time, because again, one guy's been at least fighting better opposition than the other, but one guy is naturally bigger with a bigger punch. I don't know about this. That's an interesting matchup in my opinion, but especially if it's at 135, I'm highly curious about that matchup. Moving on, Brandon Figueroa and Julio Ceja fought to a really fantastic draw, and honestly, a fight that when the scorecards were read and it came out to a draw, I was completely in favor of it. I was like, look, I'm okay with this scorecard or this overall score of the fight, because the fight was ultra close, ultra competitive. Both guys had their moments. Both guys landed hellacious blows, and really both guys' chins and just durabilities and hearts were tested in ways that I almost just didn't think was possible for this matchup, and I had high hopes for this fight, and it delivered and exceeded on those high hopes and expectations, and I'm in favor of a draw here. I really didn't score this fight, but this one was a fun fight. If you have not watched the Figueroa Ceja fight, watch it. That's perhaps the best fight of the weekend. No, it is the best fight of the weekend. Without a doubt, it is. And probably would be an honorable mention for fight of the year, to be honest. That was just a fantastic boxing bout. That was guts. That was trenches, dogfight. That was, and also boxing skill. Like, Figueroa is switching stances and trying to figure out ways to get his shots. There's a method to the madness there. Now, he got hit a lot in the fight, and that's his style, but there's a method to that madness that I'm appreciating, that if he gets to fine-tune with some time, he could be really, really special. And it's sort of a spirit of upsets. Eduardo Ramirez defeated Ludin Bartolome via TKO, just battered him up. Really impressive stuff there. Also, before I speak that, also upsets. Marcellus Wilder getting knocked out in vicious fashion again against Dustin Long. Probably a sign that Marcellus Wilder is not going to be as accomplished as his brother, and that's kind of to be expected because he didn't have the amateur career that his brother did, and I think that's a sign. Omar Juarez picked up a really decent win against Kevin Shacks, whoever that is, a guy that was 3-4-3, but Omar Juarez, I think he's looking good, and a guy that doesn't have a lot of amateur pedigree, but he does look the part. I am excited to see what he looks like moving forward. Also, Vito Milenicki Jr. picked up a win as well, and he looked the part. But again, fighting 500 opponents, hard to tell how good you are at this point in time, especially when it's only your second or third fight. But hey, prospects on the rise right there. Moving on Golden Boy also tonight, Andrew Cancio losing to Rene Alvarado in a slugfest, and Alvarado just really bullying him and being the better and sharper fighter, and in similar way to the first fight, but just being the more improved fighter at this point in time, probably fighting better opposition too, but though that might be debatable because both guys have been fighting, I think, really great competition the last few years, but I think Alvarado may just have that number of Cancio and just kind of beat him up into submission there. Really devastating fight for Andrew Cancio, who was on a career rise that we knew was going to end eventually, but that, blue collar, bring a lunch pail to the fight sort of style, it endears you to the everyday man, and Andrew Cancio was an everyday man in every shape and form, and he even still had the day job, being a world champion. Co-main event, Shushan defeating Manny Robles III via unanimous decision. A really fun, competitive fight, but Shushan just the better fighter, and really reminding me of that prime Leo Santa Cruz. There's moments where Shushan, a guy that doesn't pack a lot of power, is throwing with just complete abandonment in terms of volume, but his ability to sort of sidestep and pick his shots is subtly a real expertise way of doing it. Like, I think Xu Shan, while again not one of the heaviest hitters, he's on the list of, like, for me, sneakily great pressure fighters in the sport right now. Like him, Josh Warrington, those guys I think should be more in the conversation with the guys like Earl Spence and others that are more traditionally pressure fighters. Jared Hurd, who else? Inoue, Neary, obviously, who didn't fight tonight. But, other sort of pressure fighters. I think Xu Shan is, the way he moves, the way he cuts off the ring is just, it's just fantastic. Also, Rashidi Ellis picked up a win against Eddie Gomez, the unanimous decision in a rematch that did not need to happen, but Eddie Gomez made a better showing. But Rashidi Ellis clearly won this fight. I thought kind of dominated this fight, in my opinion. And I'm ready for the Vergil Ortiz, Rashidi Ellis fight. Just make that fight happen. You have nothing else for those guys. Pitch, these two undefeated prospects against each other. I am 100% down for that matchup from Golden Boy. And my brief thoughts on the Callum Smith-John Ryder fight. I did not score it. I'm going to go back and score this fight. I will say this, though. Callum Smith, because I really don't care about the robbery discussion. I'll just be honest. I didn't score it, so it's not a discussion that I feel like I need to offer my opinion on, because my opinion doesn't matter there. But I will say this about Callum Smith. Clearly, whether I scored it or not, we can view Callum Smith from a different light now, because I think we have enough of a case study, enough of a sample size of what he is. I think he's a really one-note offensive fighter that lacks really any sort of defensive prowess, let's be honest. I think has clearly hit a ceiling technically and athletically. And plus, let's be honest, the weight cut is clearly affecting him. So until, like, A, the weight cut gets fixed, and B, he fixes or A, he fixes his weight cut and just moves up, and B, fixes defense, he's never going to improve that ceiling issue, because clearly he's hit a ceiling. And if a guy like John Ryder can give you issues, I think a guy like David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, they could beat you. And Billy Joe Saunders, a guy that even had a sort of bad fight himself in his last showing, I think he could give Callum Smith a lot of issues, because Callum Smith is not a diverse fighter in what he does. He is very, again, one note, very basic, it's being honest. And while what he does is efficient when he is able to do it and it's able to work, he's not able to hurt you and not really able to land efficiently, a la the John Ryder fight, because he wasn't able to land efficiently. And if he did, his shots really weren't having the desired effect. His game falls apart. If you pressure him, if you get inside, his inside game is, again, also a huge issue. I can see Canelo stalking a Billy Joe Saunders or a Callum Smith and picking up a easy win at this point in time. Let's just be honest here. But I say, regardless of the robbery discussion, because I think that's a discussion for other people to have, I just don't care enough about that discussion. I think we can clearly say that Callum Smith has some issues here that he needs to work on moving forward. I think that's without doubt something that is just there, that is prevalent, that is just blatant, that we cannot avoid at this point in time. But guys, that's going to be it for today and for tonight. I'm going to remind everyone to go check out our earlier show today with Cole James Cash of Ghetto News Network, talking politics and racism in combat sports and prize fighting. A great discussion, a great, just fluid talk about combat sports in a way that I think is very insightful for a lot of you guys listening right now. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Check out a show we did on Friday as well, talking about the Mayweather comeback. Also, I explained why I left Sharedar.com, or why I'm no longer. I should say I left. But I'm no longer at Sharedar.com. If you want to get my reasoning why, championship rounds on Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. I am Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find me Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Vito saying, try get Skype for callers. I do have Skype, Mixed Combat Radio on Skype, but no one called in. So, hey, it's okay. I'm not feeling that great. I have bronchitis right now, so I'm okay with doing a early show. And don't worry, guys, be back tomorrow with the full panel. I think Gary should be back in town. I think Foo should not be working, hopefully not working. And plus, Rob should be available, so it should be a full panel discussion on all these fights that were largely fantastic tonight. Again, watch the Golden Boy card, watch the entire Wilder Ortiz card because there were some gems throughout. And on top of it, of course, watch the UK card as well because there were some gems in there as well. Have a great day, great night, wherever you are. Peace.